Every morning, you stand at the threshold of destiny. Before the world stirs, before voices demand your attention, there is a sacred moment, a moment where the heavens align with your life. Today is not just another day, it is a canvas of possibilities painted with the power of God. Psalm 120 is not merely words, it is a weapon, a declaration, a strategy for divine intervention. If you understand this, if you embrace it, your day will never be ordinary. Are you ready to step into the supernatural flow that has been waiting for you since dawn? Every day when the sun rises, most people wake up and immediately face the noise of the world, emails, traffic, responsibilities, obligations. But have you ever stopped to realize that the first moments of your morning are the most powerful moments of your entire day? Yes, those first breaths, that first prayer, that first thought, this is the time when the universe, when God Himself is ready to align with your life. Psalm 120 is not just an ordinary passage, it is a declaration of authority. It is a strategic weapon designed to bring supernatural intervention into the natural realm. And here is the truth. Most people wake up and live their day like it's a coincidence. But let me tell you, there is no such thing as coincidence in the life of someone who begins the day in divine alignment. When you speak the words of Psalm 120, when you meditate on them, you are not just reading a text, you are commanding your day. You are saying, today, the plans of heaven will be my plans. Today, the strategies of God will manifest in my life. Today, no weapon formed against me shall prosper. But it requires focus. It requires discipline. Are you willing to take 34 minutes? Yes, 34 minutes to saturate your morning with the power that is higher than the challenges waiting for you. Because you see, a day that starts with God's authority cannot be ordinary. It is destined to be extraordinary. And there is something else you must understand. Prayer is not about asking for what you need. Prayer is about activating what has already been deposited in the spiritual realm for you. Your breakthrough is not in the world. It is in the realm of the Spirit. Psalm 120 is your key. It positions your life in alignment with divine favor, protection, and guidance. When you declare it, you are not just speaking to heaven. You are commanding heaven to engage on your behalf. And when heaven moves, the forces of the enemy are frustrated. But here is the point most people miss. Alignment is not just about protection. Alignment is about momentum. Momentum in your career, momentum in your relationships, momentum in your destiny. So, as you commit these words to your spirit, as you let them rise from your heart with understanding and expectancy, ask yourself, will I allow the ordinary to define my day, or will I embrace the supernatural flow that God has prepared? Because, my friend, the difference between success and stagnation is not luck. It is your ability to start the day in divine authority. And when you do, the enemy will watch, circumstances will bow, and your life will begin to move in a way that cannot be explained by human reasoning. Now, having understood the power of declaring Psalm 120 at the start of your day, imagine what happens when you combine this authority with the next principle. The very principle that magnifies this power, that releases favor like you've never seen before. Have you ever noticed how most people rush into their day, reacting to every little thing, as if life is controlling them instead of them controlling life? They wake up, check their phones, respond to messages, run errands, and by the end of the day, they wonder, where did my time go? Where is my peace? Where is my breakthrough? The truth is this: the way you start your morning determines the course of your entire day. If you begin in reaction, you will live in chaos. But if you begin in alignment, in intentionality, in the authority of God's word, then every moment that follows carries the weight of purpose. And that, my friend, is the morning shift. The morning shift is not about waking up earlier. It is not about rushing through your devotional or ticking off a checklist. No, it is about entering a sacred space, a divine pause, before the noise of the world invades your mind. When you rise and declare Psalm 120, you are not just speaking words, you are establishing your spiritual territory. You are telling heaven, I am ready, I am aligned, I am positioned for divine intervention. And the beauty of this is, once you have aligned your spirit before the world cannot dictate the outcome of your day. Circumstances may appear, challenges may rise, but they will bow because your morning has already been captured by the power of God. And here is something vital. You must understand that momentum is born in the morning. If you allow distraction to steal the first hour of your day, you forfeit the momentum that could have carried you past obstacles. Momentum is spiritual. It is not just about moving faster, it is about moving under God's direction with purpose, with precision, and with power. Every victory, every favor, every blessing begins in the quietness of your morning alignment. It is a spiritual law. What you release in the first part of the day determines what is released upon you for the rest of the day. So you must ask yourself, am I ready to position myself for this momentum, or will I allow the ordinary to dictate my life? But alignment is more than momentum. It is also about protection. Yes, protection. When you declare the word, when you begin your day in the presence of God, you are setting a hedge around your life. The enemy may attempt to attack your peace, your productivity, your relationships, but there is a boundary that has been activated by your prayer. And here is the key: protection and favor work hand in hand. You cannot have one without the other. The morning alignment positions you to receive, and it positions you to resist. So, as you take these truths into your spirit, remember the morning shift is not merely a habit. It is a strategy, a principle, a spiritual law that changes everything. It is the difference between a day that drifts and a day that dominates. And when you understand this fully, you will be ready to discover the next principle, the very principle that transforms alignment into unstoppable favor, that takes momentum and multiplies it into manifestation. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to move through life effortlessly, as if circumstances and challenges simply bow before them, while others struggle, constantly fighting battles they can't seem to win? The difference is not in ability. The difference is not in education, talent, or even luck. The difference is in divine positioning. Before the world even opens its eyes, there is a sacred moment, a moment of opportunity, a moment when heaven itself is ready to intervene. This is the power of divine intervention at dawn, and it is available to you if only you will take it. Divine intervention does not come to those who are unprepared. It comes to those who understand that the first part of the day is sacred, that the morning is a spiritual portal, a window through which God can speak, move, and shift circumstances. When you engage in prayer, when you meditate on Psalm 120, when you speak declarations that align with God's purposes, you are not merely asking for help, you are activating the very forces that work in the unseen realm. You are positioning yourself to receive supernatural strategies, divine guidance, and protection that will carry you through the day. And here is what most people miss. The enemy is most active when you are distracted, when you allow your mind to drift, when you start the day without intention. But when you rise early before the chaos and you pray, you establish a spiritual authority over every moment that follows. You are essentially saying, today I will not be a victim of my circumstances. Today heaven will direct my steps. Today I will experience favor that is beyond explanation. And favor, my friend, is not just kindness. It is influence. It is opportunity. It is a supernatural shift that opens doors that man cannot open and closes doors that should never be entered. This is why the dawn is so critical. It is the time when the spiritual atmosphere is most receptive, when your words, your declarations, your prayers have the greatest impact. You see, the world will try to tell you that mornings are ordinary, that waking early is just routine, that prayer is a ritual. But no, mornings are strategic. They are decisive. And the way you invest these first 4 minutes, yes, 4 minutes in prayer and declaration will determine whether your day is ordinary or whether it is extraordinary. But divine intervention does not stop with protection or favor. It also brings clarity. It illuminates paths that were hidden. It provides solutions where confusion once reigned. It places you in the exact place you need to be at the exact time you need to be there. And here is the exciting part. Once you understand this principle fully, once you embrace the power of divine intervention at dawn, you will begin to see patterns, opportunities, and breakthroughs that were invisible to the unprepared eye. So, as you prepare to step into this reality, ask yourself, am I willing to rise early, to engage with God, to declare His promises, so that my day is not left to chance, but is dictated by heaven itself? Because when you do, the next principle emerges, the principle that turns clarity into strategy, that converts opportunity into destiny, that multiplies favor into a life that cannot be contained. Have you ever thought about the power of 34 minutes? 34 minutes may seem small, insignificant, even fleeting in the grand scheme of your day. But let me tell you something. The first 34 minutes of your morning are more powerful than the rest of your entire day combined, if only you will use them wisely. This is the time when heaven is most attentive, when your spirit is most receptive, when the words you speak carry the weight of authority. And the key to unlocking this power is not in rushing, not in multitasking, not in thinking about what comes next. It is in stillness, in focus, in speaking with intention. The 34-minute prayer is not just a ritual. It is a declaration of ownership. It is you standing in the gap, commanding the day, and saying, today I refuse to be defeated. Today I will walk in divine purpose. Today, my life will align with the plans of God. When you understand this, when you allow your spirit to engage fully, you begin to see that prayer is not about persuading God. It is about activating what has already been prepared for you. It is about opening the spiritual gates that allow heaven's resources to flow into your life. And the moment you begin to declare Psalm 120, you are not just speaking words, you are issuing commands. Commands that shape your circumstances, influence your environment, and position you for victory. Many people underestimate the power of commitment in these minutes. They wake up, mutter a quick word, and rush into the day, wondering why life seems heavy, why obstacles appear larger than they should. But here is the truth. The world may not wait, but heaven does. Heaven waits for your alignment, for your declaration, for your intentional engagement. And when you invest 34 minutes in the morning with focused prayer, the result is momentum. Momentum that carries you beyond challenges, beyond distraction, beyond limitations. Momentum that ensures that by the time the world comes knocking, you are already ahead. And there is something even more profound. This prayer is not just for protection, not just for favor, not just for clarity. It is for transformation. It is the ignition of your spiritual authority. It is the point where potential becomes reality, where promises manifest, where the unseen begins to take shape in the seen. You see, 34 minutes may seem small, but the impact is immeasurable. It sets the tone for every decision, every interaction, every move you make throughout the day. It is the difference between walking through life with uncertainty and walking with unstoppable confidence. So, as you step into this understanding, you must ask yourself, will I treat the first moments of my day as ordinary, or will I treat them as the launch pad for the extraordinary? Because when you embrace this principle fully, something remarkable happens. The alignment of your spirit meets divine strategy, and favor begins to multiply. And that leads to the next principle, the principle that transforms the momentum of prayer into the manifestation of destiny. Have you ever considered that your day is like a battlefield, and the first moments of the morning are where the war is won or lost? Most people walk through life reacting to circumstances, running from one problem to the next, never realizing that the unseen forces are shaping their reality long before they even take a single step outside their door. But there is a principle, a spiritual law that, when understood and applied, turns your morning into a launch pad for supernatural favor. It is called heaven's blueprint for your morning. And it is not just theory, it is strategy. The blueprint begins with intentionality. It begins with the deliberate act of saying, today I will not be controlled by the world. Today I will align my life with God's purpose. Today I will walk in favor that is supernatural, unexplainable, unstoppable. These are not empty words. They are declarations that set into motion forces in the spiritual realm that will shape your day in ways the natural eye cannot see. Psalm 120 is your tool, your instrument, your weapon in this blueprint. When you speak it, meditate on it, and release it with faith, you are writing your day's destiny with divine ink. And here is what most people miss: favor is not earned by effort alone. Favor is activated through alignment with God, alignment with His Word, alignment with His plan for your life. When you understand this, you begin to see that mornings are not merely for preparation, they are for activation. They are the time when your decisions, your words, your focus, and your prayers converge to attract opportunities that will carry you beyond the limits of human expectation. You see, favor is not random. Favor is strategic. And the strategy begins before the world wakes up, in the quietness of your spirit, in the deliberate engagement with the Word of God. Protection is part of the blueprint, but favor is the ultimate result. Protection keeps you safe from what the enemy intends to destroy. Favor positions you to receive what God intends to give. When these two operate together, your day is not left to chance. It is designed by heaven. And here is the reality: the world will always try to steal your peace, your time, your focus. But when you rise early, commit your first 4 minutes to prayer, to declaration, and to positioning yourself in God's presence, nothing can derail what heaven has ordained for you. The enemy can try, but he cannot succeed. So as you embrace this morning blueprint, ask yourself, am I going to allow the ordinary to dictate my life, or will I rise above, deliberately positioning myself for divine favor? Because when you understand this fully, when you apply it without hesitation, you step into the next principle, the principle that takes protection and favor and turns them into unstoppable momentum, a momentum that guarantees victory and manifests destiny. Have you ever realized that many people live each day as though their lives are at the mercy of circumstances? They wake up, they react, they hope, they wish, but they never truly take command. And yet there is a moment, a sacred window each morning, where the course of your entire day, your entire life can be determined. This is the power of a morning aligned with God, the power of speaking life over your day before the world has a chance to influence it. Psalm 120 is more than a passage. It is a declaration of authority. It is a weapon of the Spirit, and when wielded with understanding, it establishes dominion over your life before anyone else even rises. You see, speaking the word is not about repetition. It is about activation. It is about declaring what is already yours, calling forth what has been preordained, and setting the spiritual forces in motion. Every word you release with faith carries weight, and when you begin your day with purpose, you are not just preparing yourself, you are commanding heaven to engage on your behalf. And here is the critical point. The morning is the time when your spirit is most attuned to God's voice, most responsive to His guidance. If you miss this, if you allow the world to dictate the start of your day, then you will find yourself constantly reacting, constantly behind, constantly frustrated. But when you rise intentionally, when you speak Psalm 120 over your life, when you declare protection, favor, guidance, and victory, something supernatural happens. You create a hedge around your life. You establish boundaries that the enemy cannot cross. You position yourself to receive opportunities that others cannot access. The difference between ordinary living and extraordinary living lies in this principle: alignment. Alignment is not passive, it is deliberate, it is intentional, and it requires discipline, consistency, and faith. And here is the truth: protection without favor is incomplete. Favor without purpose is wasted, and purpose without alignment is ineffective. But when you combine these, when you rise early, declare God's promises, and commit your first moments to prayer, you step into a divine rhythm that transforms every interaction, every challenge, every moment of your day. Your decisions are sharper, your vision clearer, your path smoother. This is the power of a morning seized, a day commanded, a life aligned with God. So, as you embrace this principle fully, let it sink into your spirit. Your morning determines your day. Your words determine your destiny. Your alignment unlocks your favor. Your declarations activate protection. Your faith invites intervention. Your obedience releases momentum. And your life, when surrendered to this pattern, becomes unstoppable, undeniable, and unforgettable.